perfect afternoon for a little baseball. Indians and Mariners putting the wraps on this 4-game series right out of the All-Star break. Indians will have an off day tomorrow, and so will the Mariners. Seattle will head north to Detroit. They'll be off in the Motor City before opening a series against the Tigers. Indians will travel tomorrow night to Toronto to open up a 9-game road trip. They'll go to Toronto and then off to Seattle and Anaheim before returning home. Mariners have won the first two in this, or won 2 of the first 3 in this series. The Indians, meanwhile, have now lost 7 of their last 10, and they've dropped to 20 games below the break-even mark for the season. Seattle, on the other hand, 48 and 43, and the Mariners still 4 games in back of front-running Los Angeles in the AL West. They're 1 game in back of second-place Texas, who was beaten last night by Minnesota, and now suddenly the Rangers have dropped 4 in a row. And I'm sure it won't be long before they're hearing the same old story in Texas.
Well, yeah, it's getting to
second
August
half
in that
fade.
heat. That's exactly right.
Well, the Indians take the field. Aaron Laffey will be on the hill today for the Tribe, trying to pitch them to a win. Pitching certainly has been at the forefront of this series thus far. While Laffey warms up, let's get a look at Don Wakamatsu's starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners. Ichiro Suzuki once again leads it off. He's in right field. And Russell Brandon again in the 2-hole. Jose Lopez will bat third. Here's the change, though. Chris Shelton DHing today. He'll bat cleanup. Ken Griffey Jr. getting the day off. Franklin Gutierrez is in center field hitting 5th. And Rob Johnson once again behind the plate batting 6th. Ryan Langerhans back in the lineup today in left field. Chris Woodward, who hasn't started since the series opener, will bat 8th at third base. And Ronnie Cedeno, who's been a guy with a lot of key hits in this series, batting 9th.
Aaron Laffey on the mound for the Indians, making his 6th start, his 12th appearance this year. You can see a record of 3-2, a .424 earned run average. In his last start, ran into a buzzsaw. That was Jose Contreras and the White Sox. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. They lost that ball game 5-1, but Aaron didn't do a bad job. He's going to come back now, 2nd start since getting inserted back into the rotation. He has made 1 start in his career against the Mariners. That came last July 18th. It was an 8-2 loss to the Mariners and Felix Hernandez. Well, we'll see if he can turn it around today, but he's matched up against another tough pitcher against Eric Bedard. Let's check out the defense for you behind Laffey today. It's brought to you by the Indians Team Shop at Summit Mall in Fairlawn. Garco is in left field, Francisco in center, Chu in right. It'll be Peralta at third, Cabrera at short, Valbuena at second, Martinez is at first, and Shopik behind the dish.
Here's the umpiring crew today. Chad Fairchild calling the balls and strikes. Jim Joyce down at first. Doug Eddings at second. The crew chief, Dana DeMuth, who worked the plate last night, is at third. Ichiro Suzuki steps in, all ready to get us underway here this afternoon.
Ichiro's 13-game hitting streak stopped last night after an 0-for-2 evening.
And he takes the first pitch strike. Suzuki had a franchise-high 27-game hitting streak earlier this year.
Well, he's had 32 streaks of 10 or more games, and that's how consistent that this guy is.
Yeah, he's hit in 71 of his last 77 games played this year. That's about as consistent as one can be.
Well, look at this.
Serves it the other way, and he leads it off with a base hit. Ryan Garco out in left field today, cuts it off, and Ichiro holds with a leadoff single.
What a great word. Serves it is right. Just watch how he keeps his hands back. That front foot is up, but his hands are back, and it's away. And he can do whatever he wants with that ball away. Never tries to pull it. It's almost like a magic wand. He hits that hole. He just slaps it over the head. Well, he should laugh. He's done that many, many times in his career.
We've talked before about the similarities with that type of swing. Him and Rod Carew just being able to, here, I'm going to hit it over this way this time. This time I'll hit it over here.
Wade Boggs was that way too.
Yeah, another good example. Russell Brandon steps in, fouls it straight back. Brandon still tied for second in the American League with 22 homers. He's gone 2 for 12 in the series.
One was an excuse me hit last night. It was almost like a perfect bunt down the third baseline with the way they put a shift on. It was an easy hit for Brandon.
He drove in a key run in the game. Shoppa can't find the ball, and look where it is. Right in front of the plate. And Ichiro goes down to second.
It'll be a wild pitch.
It's one of those deals where he thought it was behind him, so he turned around and it was actually in front of him.
Yeah, when you take your mask off, sometimes it's tough for the catchers to pick up a ball. They lose it in the mask. He knew he blocked it, but you know what it did? It stayed and it went right down in front of him and rolled out. He expected it to go to one side or the other. It didn't do that.
1-1 pitch. Think back to when I was a kid, the first time somebody said if it was a snake, it'd bite you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how close it was when you're looking for something.
Yeah, but when you're panicking and you're looking all over the place, it could be standing right at your feet and you don't see it.
2-1 the count on Branyan. This is hit a long way. Deep right center field and way out of here. Russell Branyan with his 23rd home run on the year. And the Mariners jump out to a 2-0 lead, 2 batters into the game. That gives him 52 runs batted in on the year, and now gives him the team lead in that category.
Well, you look at the Indians. Gutierrez has a couple of home runs in this series. Now Branyan gets into the act. The former Indians are doing some damage against their former team. Branyan, number 23 on the year, and this is right in his wheelhouse. He's a dead low ball hitter. You cannot pitch him down and in because he will give it a ride a long way. And there it goes.
Now Jose Lopez steps in, and he rifles one the other way, just foul. Well, you can say Russell Branyan's a former player with a lot of different teams, but he'll always be a former Indian because that's the team he started his career with.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I was coaching in the minor leagues when he was coming up, a kid down there. He was a third baseman when he first came in. He had as much raw power, and probably still does, as anybody you will see in the minor leagues. I don't care. Branyan, Richie Sexton was down there. Giles was down there. Sean Casey. He ended up having the most raw power, but just never, he would strike out, it seemed like, one every 2 times at bat. This year, for some strange reason, he's in his 30s, the light goes off.
0-2 pitch in the dirt. When I was talking to Russell the other day, and you talk about that raw power, never was it more evident than that spring training game that was played in Valencia, Venezuela.
You went there, yeah.
When he hit the ball completely out of the stadium, and he said, people still ask me about that. That was 2001.
Well, it was well over 500 feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it went completely out of the stadium. They never got an official measurement, I don't think, but, when it goes out of the stadium, it's a long way.
They said it was a 6-pack ride if you were in a car.
But that's one of those kind of home runs that, he said, people still will ask me about that. Here's Drupal Cabrera, off-balance throw to get Jose Lopez one down. Hey, fans, don't forget, if there's an engagement in your future, stop by Alvin's Jewelers and check out their Pray for Rain promotion. You buy your engagement ring at Alvin's. If it rains on your wedding day, the engagement ring is absolutely free. Log on to alvinsjewelers.com or stop by and get all the details. Here is Chris Shelton, the Mariners DH today. Former Detroit Tiger. And looks at the ball down low. He was batting .319 at AAA Tacoma this year and was named to the AAA All-Star squad.
Remember a few years ago when
he smashes one past Peralta down into the left field corner, and he's got a double. That's the second extra base hit in the inning for Seattle.
Well, Seattle has the most extra base hits in the month of July as a team. They have, 52 extra base hits. And this one just a bullet down the line over the glove of Peralta. That ball hit the lip and took off. That's their 36th double, their 15th home run in the month of July.
Well, and here is Franklin Gutierrez, who's hit in 4 straight games, including a home run in last night's contest and a home run the night before. And takes the first pitch strike.
Well, Branyan's home run too. That's the opposition that have homered now in 8 straight games against the Tribe, 10 total. And in turn, the Indians haven't homered in 5 straight games. So the opposition getting the long ball. And that was the difference in the game last night.
There's a liner in the left field, another hit. That's going to bring home Chris Shelton. Garco cuts it off in the gap. And Gutierrez has a long RBI single. And it's now 3-0 Seattle. Nothing going right for Aaron Laffey. He's getting the ball up, man. They're having some pretty good at-bats against him. 4 hits in the inning for Seattle in the first 5 hitters.
Well, Goot just went down, got that one, and smoked it. Laffey's going to have to make an adjustment here, whether it's a changeup or mix in a few breaking balls. But they are not getting cheated. They are getting some excellent swings off Aaron Laffey.
Now the catcher, Rob Johnson. Laffey deals, down low, ball 1. Not what you hope for if you're Eric Wedge and Carl Willis coming out here in the series finale, to fall behind early, especially when you know you're up against another pretty good customer in Eric Bedard.
Well, that's the whole point. When you're going up against good starting pitching, and Bedard, the most earned runs he's allowed in a start was 3, and he's done it twice this year. Well, they already have 3. So he can go out there maybe a little more relaxed and not worried about making mistakes. And Carl Willis must notice something, because Laffey is all over the place, and he's going to take a jog out.
Well, I noticed somebody throwing in the Indians bullpen, but I'm not sure if that's just somebody getting some work or if we've already got somebody heating up 18 pitches into the game.
No, I would think somebody's got to be up.
Mike Gosling.
4 hits out of the first 5 hitters, and he's falling behind here.
Yeah, he's warming up. That's not a guy getting some work. He's trying to get heated up in a hurry. So for whatever reason, Aaron Laffey on it. You know, and part of the reason might be, as we've seen in the past with guys who rely on that sinker ball, too much rest sometimes not a good thing.
That's a good point, because he is a sinker ball pitcher. And there's not many ground balls.
So back to work goes Rob Johnson. He's hit in 5 straight games. He taps it foul. You think of Kenji Jojima as being, the Mariner backstop, probably from an offensive standpoint. Not probably, without a doubt, from an offensive standpoint. Really a much better player. But consider that Rob Johnson, when he's behind the plate, the Mariners' ERA is 2.87. That's the best in the American League among catchers.
Well, maybe that's why he's caught the last 3 games. Well, Jojima's a good catcher too, and he threw out a couple guys. But the other night, I think it was Thursday night, he took a foul tip into the groin area, so he could use a couple extra days off, I'm sure.
Well, it doesn't hurt you with this guy behind
That's
the plate.
Exactly right. You don't have to worry about not having your number 1 guy back there when this guy does just a good job.
2-1, missed away, 3 balls and a strike. So Seattle jumping out to a 3-0 lead, 5 batters into the game, and there's still only 1 out. There's Don Wakamatsu, Seattle skipper, in his first year, and he watches Johnson draw a walk. So 5 out of the first 6 have reached.
Crowd hasn't even had a chance to settle into their seats yet.
Well, this can't be any fun if you're a starting pitcher. You get 1 chance to pitch every 5 days, and you're 6 batters into the game, and you know your manager's got his foot tapping and the bullpen's on fire trying to get ready.
Well, that's what you do. When you have a guy unsettled in that first inning, you try and get to him. So far, Seattle's been able to do that. Now it's up for Laffey to make an adjustment. There's a good breaking ball.
He needs that patented double play ball to get himself out of the inning. 22 pitches in. Ryan Langerhans is 1 for 6 in the series. That one hit was a double. Back to the screen, and that's been really the hit of choice for Ryan Langerhans. In his 13 starts with Seattle, he has hit 6 doubles. So if you're going to get a periodic start and you're going to hit, might as well make it an extra base knock.
Why not?
Now the 0-2 pitch. On it back over the screen. Nice play down below. Barehanded grab. Franklin Gutierrez, the runner at second. Rob Johnson down at first with 1 out here in the first inning. Aaron Laffey ready. The 0-2 pitch. Again, fouled back out of play. Fans getting plenty of souvenirs here in the first inning. Laffey would love to see one of those balls hit right at an infielder on the ground. Trying to get a 2-for-1 job. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Gets his first strikeout, 2 down.
Well, it comes at a very opportune time. Now he's got a chance to get out of this inning and just keep it a 3-0 ball game. With still the Indians never coming up to the plate. Get down, you might have a chance to settle in. Good breaking ball down out of the strike zone. Gets Langerhans a swing and miss and gets the second out of the inning.
Now here's Chris Woodward. And Chris Woodward 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in the series opener.
I was going to say, we saw Cliff just power that fastball by him upstairs all night long on Thursday night. He was overmatched. Not that Laffey throws the exact same stuff as Cliff, but pretty good scouting report to go on.
1-0 pitch, popped him up. This is go out of play. Bright sunshine here today in downtown Cleveland will make it a little bit challenging for the outfielders and the infielders on pop-ups. You see Gutierrez at second, Johnson at first, 2 down. 1-1 pitch. And a strike called. This will be pitch number 30 for Aaron Laffey, trying to survive a very rocky first inning. And the 1-2 pitch taps it foul. Laffey ready now, 1-2. Jam job, shallow left, going out. Cabrera makes the over-the-shoulder running catch to end the inning. Nice play by his dribble, but the Mariners get on the board with a 3 spot. Now the Indians coming to bat when we come back. Well, Carl Willis talking to Aaron Laffey after a rocky top half of the first. Here's the starting nine for Eric Wedge, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians, and Grady Sizemore will get it started for the Tribe here this afternoon. Notably absent from the lineup today, Travis Hafner, who played the first 3 games after the All-Star break, sitting this one out today. Pitches outside. Ball 1. Grady Sizemore DHing to take a little wear and tear off his elbow with Hafner out of the lineup. Ben Francisco in center here this afternoon for the Tribe. Now the 1-1 pitch from Eric Bedard. Swung on and missed.
Eric Bedard has spent some time on the disabled list. From June 17th to July 7th, he had some inflammation in his left shoulder, and he has had some injuries. When healthy, he's a very good pitcher.
Only made 15 starts last year with 2 stints on the disabled list. Guy who had Tommy John surgery way back in 2002, early in his career with Baltimore.
Got him.
Grady Sizemore out looking to start the ball game.
Let's check out the Mariners defense behind Bedard today. It's Langerhans in left, Gutierrez in center, Ichiro is in right. Woodward at third, Cedeno at short, Lopez at second, Branyan at first, and Johnson behind the plate. Eric Bedard, the 30-year-older. You can see a 5-2 record, making his 14th start, a great 2.63 ERA. On the road, he is 3-0 and a 2.72. He pitches better away from Safeco Field, and that's hard to do.
He's one of those guys that obviously when he's right and when he's healthy, he's very attractive. But that's the question if you're a GM and you're a team that's either a potential free agent suitor or a trade partner. How do you know for sure?
Well,
right?
And you're looking for a guy to be up in your upper end rotation, maybe a 1 or 2 or 3 starter. Well, you've got to stay healthy. You've got to give 200 innings, and he hasn't been able to do that. But like you say, when healthy, he's good. In his career, 11-6 and 23 starts in the month of July. He has his last 2 starts, no decisions. 2 starts before that have been wins.
Cabrera just fought it off, an emergency bailout swing. Nice job by a dad who made a catch right next to his son off the ricochet. It was like a ball skimming across a lake. Hit about 6 different sets of hands before it settled down. Now the 0-2 from Bedard. Pop back. He too, like Hernandez from the right side, has that little turn, almost shows his entire back to the hitter before coming to home
what
plate.
It may do, it may hide the baseball a little bit. It may give you that little extra giddy up at the end. We saw Hernandez do it on Friday night, and boy, he was a much better tempo in his game than we've seen in the past. Bedard also making his 8th career start against Cleveland. He is 2-0, but his team has won 4 straight and 5 of the last 7 starts against the Indians, and he's 1-0 in this ballpark.
Little tapper, he just got a piece to stay alive. I wonder too, Rick, if a turn like that in your delivery, from a mechanical standpoint, would force you to concentrate so that you don't open up. You hear about pitching coaches saying, a pitcher's flying open and the ball stays flat.
Well, if your arm
turning,
catch up.
You really got to think more about driving through, coming back.
No, you drive and it keeps you back behind the baseball.
Good curveball, and he strikes out Cabrera. Boy, Bedard looks awfully tough here right out of the gate. He has struck out the first 2 batters. Let's get a look at our Firestone League leaders. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. And Seattle came in here with the best pitching.
Only team
baseball
in the league with an ERA under 4. That's something, isn't it? Boy, what a difference. You know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you wouldn't see a team with an ERA over 4. Yeah. Now, you get one team with it under 4.
Chu fouls it away.
And you get the specialization. They're carrying 13 pitchers, some of these teams, minimum 12. But the ballparks are a little bit smaller.
Well, for example, Rick, in 1996, now some may argue, well, that's the height of the steroid era you're talking about, but 1996, the Indians led the American League in earned run average, and their staff ERA that year was 4.34. Indians go 1-2-3. Mariners lead it 3-0 after 1. By Continental Airlines, official airline of the Cleveland Indians. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. By McCafe Coffees at McDonald's, all made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures, we make seeing the dentist easy. Back here at Progressive Field, where the Mariners have the 3-0 advantage. Second inning, Ronnie Cedeno, number 9 hitter, leading off. Anyway, going back to that point we made right before we went to the break, isn't that amazing that in '96 you could lead the league in earned run average as a staff over 4?
Well, that offense, there was a lot of offense back in the leagues then.
That staff had 9 shutouts, 13 complete games. Slow chopper to third. Peralta won't have a chance. And Ronnie Cedeno with the old swing and bunt base hit. And the Mariners had their leadoff man aboard for the second straight inning. Not much you can do about that play.
You're absolutely right. Look how far back he is. And no, you're going to catch it and just hold on to it. A guy that can run a little bit, get a couple strikes on you, you got to play back. Just like a perfect bunt.
Now here is Ichiro Suzuki. He's got Peralta in on the cut of the grass at third. Takes a strike. By the way, Ichiro is now 5 for 10 in his career against Aaron Laffey. So for whatever it is, he really likes, maybe gets a good look at the ball.
Well, Laffey's got to pound him inside. You can't keep going away. Got to stay in. They've done a nice job. If you watched Cliff the other night, remember he had a couple in. And, you know, this guy loves the ball to just, he stays back. Likes to extend his arm. Force him to pull the ball a couple times on you. Then you get him looking in and you might be able to get him out of the way. But if you let him just stay up there and look for the ball away, he can hit it on the ground. He can hit it past Peralta at third, and he can beat out the infield hit. Leads the league. But there you go. That's a pitch I like. Now go back in there again.
1-2 the count.
Force him to make an adjustment to pull the ball. If you can do that, he'll hit him in the air. Look at, he's looking away, and you jammed him. He couldn't hit that. Now go back in there again. If he swings it, he may foul it off, but he's looking for everything away.
The 1-2 pitch. That's too far in. 2-2 the count. And of course, the danger for a pitcher is if you miss in and it comes back over the plate fat. He's got enough power to turn on it and hit it a long way.
But you know what? You don't miss on the plate. When you miss in off the plate. You're a big league pitcher. You're taught. You don't miss on the plate. You miss off. Hey, look at him. Now he's just getting to that ball. That ball wasn't quite in. And he's still getting the barrel head of that bat, trying to foul it off that way. He's tardy on everything. He is not thinking pull. See, it's away. Stay in. You try to get this guy to hit the ball in the air. Because with his speed, when he does that, he's not going to drive the ball. Yeah, he can turn on some pitches maybe once in a while when he cheats. Maybe early in the count.
He hammers this one to center.
It's in the air.
Right at Ben Francisco. And back to first goes Ronnie Cedeno, 1 down.
Well, you don't want to miss the Indians Hall of Fame ceremonies. That'll be on Saturday, August 1st. The Tigers will be in town. 4 new members will join the Hall this year. Sandy Alomar Jr., Wes Farrell, Bill Veeck, and Richard Jacobs. All fans will also receive a Victor Martinez bobblehead. So you can call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com for your tickets.
Russell Brandon, his 2-run homer set the tempo in the first inning here today. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Brandon now with 52 runs batted in on the year. Leads the Mariners in that category. And here was the mistake by Aaron Laffey. Ouch. Nitro zone.
Yeah, you found his zone. He's got that uppercut. And when you find it, you pay the price. Another guy, you have to throw fastballs belt high and above and just keep him off balance.
High pop. Shallow center, and it's going to be Peralta backing up. Or excuse me, yeah, it is Peralta with that shift on. 2 down. Let's take a look at the Alltel Text Poll question of the game. Who hit the first inside the park home run here at Progressive Field? It came in a series against the Seattle Mariners. Was it David Bell, Ken Griffey Jr., Kenny Lofton, or Omar Vizquel? Text your answer to 31962. We'll have the results coming up later in the game. Jose Lopez bounced out to short his first time up. Wasn't it Randy Johnson who was pitching in that game?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Absolutely right. It was actually a fly ball to left field. And you would think of all places you can't get inside the park or to left field here, and it was.
You know what I don't remember, I don't know if we have the video clip we can refer to later when we reveal the answers. Where was the center fielder, I wonder? Did he go? He must have gone for the ball, and they both got trapped up against the wall.
Well, that happened quite some time ago, so I don't remember. You know.
You don't have instant recall on that one?
Well, not on that one. I know who did it and I know who was pitching, but I don't remember what the outfielders did.
I remember the ball rolling all the way back towards shortstop.
Yes.
I just don't remember the fielder's positioning and how that played out. With Ronnie Cedeno at first and 2 down, Jose Lopez awaits the 0-1 pitch, pops it in the air, right side slicing, and it will find the seats. Bad trend right now for the Indians. The opposition is homered now against them in 8 straight games, and they have gone homerless now in their last 5. Throw over to first, and it's not that the Indians are a bunch of home run mashers, but Rick, when you consider that this was interesting, the Indians have 4 players with 13 or more home runs. Only the Yankees, Twins, and Rangers have more. There's a liner to left. This is going to get down. It's going to go to the fence. Garco will play it off the wall. Cedeno coming around third, going to try to score. Throw to the plate. He is out at the dish. He never got there. Kelly Shopping blocked him off. And a good relay from Asdrubal Cabrera to cut him down. So a nice play by Garco to Cabrera to Shopping. And the inning is over. It remains Seattle 3, Cleveland nothing, middle of the second. First pitch, home half of the second inning, and Victor Martinez looks at a strike. It's not a good sign for the Tribe. Bedard seems to have very good command of his breaking ball here right out of the gate. That's always a good pitch for him.
Well, Victor gets the daunted task to hit 4th today. Let me tell you what number 4 hitters have done against Bedard this year. They're 3 for 33.
I had a feeling it wasn't going to be
with
good.
With 11 strikeouts, yeah. And Victor, a guy that's been in a long, long slump.
I wonder why he's been particularly so tough on the cleanup guys.
I have no idea.
Maybe a lot of left-handed hitters.
Like I say, this is the first time we've played Seattle. And you really don't get to see them a lot. You know, when they're 3 hours time difference, of course they do a lot of traveling, but when you don't see them, they're not in your division. We're still going to play the Angels for the very first time when we get to LA on the next road trip.
Franklin Gutierrez runs it down in center field, 1 away. Here's another look at the play that ended the top half of the inning. Ryan Garco dug it out, and Ronnie Cedeno trying to score.
Do you see, though, where the throw was? It's a short left field, and, yeah, go in head first. You're going to break your arm, and Shopping did a nice job of blocking it. That didn't feel good. That is why you don't go head first to home plate. You could get killed. The catcher's got the gear on, the shin guards, the mask, the chest protector. That throw from left field, see, Ryan Garco, it was perfect to Cabrera because it hit him right shoulder height. He just spun, threw a strike to Shopping. He could have done a little more damage than what he did do.
Yeah, not to mention Kelly, the way he's built, that's like running into a cement post.
Yes, it is. I mean, you got to go. And when the catcher gets the ball a step or so before the runner gets there, that's when they can do some damage to you and hurt you.
Drop the leg down and boom.
Yeah, I think he was kind to him there.
I would agree with you.
I think he could have stopped him in his tracks.
Old Thurman Munson probably would have dropped the hammer on you in a
hurry.
hurry.
He did it to me. Knocked me out. Watch this. See, Shop is there, and he's going to put that leg out, and he just let him go because he knew he wasn't going to get to the plate. And he says, "You okay?"
Another breaking ball in for a strike.
I went at first one time, like a play like that was a tag play, sacrifice fly going into home plate. Munson was there, and he got the ball and buried me, and I got up and I saw about 1,000 stars like that. He said, "Hey, rookie, don't ever come in head first again." I said, "You got it, sir." I was lucky to have teeth.
Some canaries chirping around, flying around.
Yeah, exactly right. I didn't know which dugout to go to.
Thurman didn't really have a soft, cuddly side to him on the field, did he?
Yeah, he did. He was actually, yeah, he did. I mean, but he was a gamer. I mean,
fouled away.
Yeah, he did. There were times when I'd get up there and go hit, and he said, "All right, here comes a fastball."
Oh, is that right?
Right down the middle. Let's see how far you can hit it. Well, I'd take it because I thought it would be a breaking ball. He said, "Hey, I told you, here comes a fastball." Catfish Hunter, somebody would be pitching over there. I said, "I didn't believe you."
There's the payoff pitch to Peralta. And it's ball 4. So the Indians get their first base runner with one out here in the second inning, and it will bring up Ryan Garco.
Well, Kick It is a campaign to raise money for pediatric, adolescents, and young adult cancer research. Kids can register their kickball teams at Indians.com and kickit.org. They'll hold kickball games in their communities to raise money from the July through September, and then teams will be selected to play in special Kick It games right here on the field. Kick It's kits are available at Indians team shops, Indians.com, or at kickit.org. Nice little package in there, and it's a great charity. So please log on and find out what it's all about.
Bedard fires it in there, and Ryan Garco shoots it back to the screen foul. Ryan Garco this year batting .271 for the season, as you see there. Now, he's hit in 12 of his last 14 games, batting .327 during that time. And over his last 39 games, batting .297.
Now, Gark, what he's got to start doing, and we always thought he was going to be like a middle of the guy, an RBI style hitter. He has 17 extra base hits, 8 doubles, 9 home runs. You'd like to see him drive the ball a little bit more. He's a guy that'll give in. I mean, he gets to 2 strikes. He changes his approach. You like that. And I think that's why he'll always be a good RBI man. And the key is finding a position for him. He's in left field today. He's not an outfielder. He's either going to be a first baseman or you have to DH him.
Now the 2-1. There was a time not that long ago, and maybe that theory still exists in some circles, that if you're going to DH or if you're going to be a corner guy, you've got to hit 30 homers a year. But I think with the changing times, I think teams may re-examine how they look at those positions in terms of the statistical benchmarks.
It's not going to be as much power, because power numbers are not like they once were. And a pretty good reason, we know why, but you got to go out there and you have to fundamentally play the game, I think, a little bit better. Now the stolen base is coming back into play. Defense is coming more involved in it. The total package. It's not just get up and hit home runs.
Right, because you can't out-hit your mistakes anymore.
That's exactly right. You want to go with pitching and defense. That goes a long way. That day in and day out will keep you in a lot of games. When you don't give up many runs, you don't have to score many. And then fundamentally you become a better team. Now you get a guy and you can bunt him over. You're playing more of a National League brand baseball.
The mid-'90s Indians, there wasn't anything wrong with their defense. They were not a defensive liability. They maybe didn't have great defenders at every position.
No, but up the middle they were strong. Sandy and Omar and
But I think offensively they out-hit some of their pitching deficiencies. You know, whatever they lacked in pitching, they made up for, and more so in offense.
They made up for with a lot of different things with their hitting. They'd get mad at the other guy for doing something stupid, so they'd hit a 3-run homer. Take that. Yeah, those days are, you know, you don't do that much anymore.
The 2-2 pitch, fouled away. I think with that, it's changing the way teams are probably looking, examining the draft. You know, the type of player that they want to sign. And
you need
scouting.
more of an all-around. You need baseball players. You need guys that can play the game. I mean, that can do a little bit of everything. You know how they talk about
not versatile, but multi-dimensional.
No, not versatile. Guys that can throw, that can bunt, that can run, that can field, that can throw.
Swung on and missed. Bedard has his 3rd strikeout, 2 down.
And Bedard has some good off-speed pitches working tonight. That's a changeup. So we've seen a good curveball, and there's a good change. Excellent location. He gets Garko to swing over the top. Now, how many guys do you see from the outfield throwing that would have good arms anymore? You know, that can. And it's not that you're going to throw a lot of guys out at home plate, but you have to hit your cutoff, man. Guys are bouncing the ball in from the outfield, from left field to the cutoff, man.
Most teams now have, you know, good arm in right field. Some teams have good arms in center. Some teams have just okay or below average. But there are very few, if any, teams that have what you would call a good armed left fielder. Seems like most left fielders now, they're lucky to hit their cutoff man on a throw to home plate.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
Francisco gets into one, drives it deep left center field, and it is gone. Francisco finds the bleachers and gets the Indians right back in the ball game with a 2-out, 2-run homer off Eric Bedard. That snaps an 0 for 10 slide in the series and 0 for 12 skid overall for Ben Francisco. His 7th home run of the year, give him 27 runs batted in.
First time in 5 games that they've hit the home run, and this is going to be our Pepsi home run replay. See if it's a fastball, and it is. It comes in. They wanted it down and away. It stayed elevated a little bit, and he turns on it and finally gets a pitch to his liking up over the wall in left center field, and the Indians are right back in the game. It's a 3-2 game.
Luis Valbuena shoots it back foul. That's one way to break out of a slump.
Well, 2 outs, too. And that's when you needed it. You needed something big to get you right back into the game.
Valbuena one after it, 0-2 the count.
He went up at that. He has his last home run 208 at-bats ago. The team, plate appearances, 208.
There you go.
5 games.
Straight games without one. Valbuena lines one into center field, and he's got a 2-out base hit. And the Indians keep the inning alive now for Kelly Shopping. The last homer for the Indians before the Francisco dinger came July 10th, right before the break in Detroit, courtesy of Ryan Garko in the 5th inning.
There's a hanger. And Valbuena took advantage of it. A nice hanging breaking ball. He hits into center field, getting the start against the lefty today.
Well, and all of a sudden, after retiring the side 1-2-3 in the first, Eric Bedard has made 40 pitches now. Shopping with 2 homers, 8 runs batted in over his last 8 games played. He was 1 for 3 in the series opener when he started that game behind the plate with Cliff Lee on the mound. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Bedard with the set. Long look over at Valbuena. Shopik sends it sky high right at home plate.
This ought to be fun.
The catcher Johnson looking for it. He's got it, and he hangs on. And the inning is over. But the 2-out, 2-run homer by Ben Francisco has the Indians within a run after 2 innings of play. Third inning of play now here at Progressive Field. Chris Shelton, Franklin Gutierrez, and Rob Johnson will face Aaron Laffey for the Cleveland Indians. Laffey had a rough first inning. 5 of the first 6 hitters reached for Seattle, but he was able to settle down and get out of the inning, giving up just the 3 runs.
Well, and the thing of it is they come right back and get him too, so he's right back in the game. It's time to settle down now.
Two balls, no strikes. You were talking earlier about Chris Shelton. I think you were just about to make the point.
The home runs in April he had?
Yeah, back in '06 when he was with the Tigers. Chris Shelton established American League records. He hit 7 homers in his first 9 games, 8 homers in his first 12, and 9 homers in his first 13 games. All of those American League records.
Well, that was against a couple of them were against us.
As Drupal Cabrera throws out Shelton to start the third, 1 down. Let's take a look at our Subway fresh face of the game. Down on the farm, Andy Marte swinging a hot bat in the month of July, batting .400. He's homered in 3 straight games after going 2 for 4 in last night's game against Syracuse. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Franklin Gutierrez had an RBI single his first time up. "73 years ago today, Bob Feller made his major league debut with the Cleveland Indians." Not hard to believe. 73 years ago.
Really is. I didn't see our buddy here today.
No, he must be celebrating.
He might be on at back 40, throwing another game.
It was a relief appearance at Washington. And then the next month he made his starting debut. Punched out 15 St. Louis Browns at League Park.
Unbelievable, huh?
Now the 2-1. in the dirt. And Bob Feller, of course, was elected to Baseball's Hall of Fame in 1962. Indians retired his number 19 back in 1957, and that was the first number the Indians ever retired. Full count.
You know what the great thing about Bob, you said since 62, he spent over half his life in the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
I mean, how great is that? You know, some guys get in, they're dead before they get in.
He spent more of his life as a Hall of Famer than he did not a Hall of Famer.
That's truly amazing. That's great.
Payoff pitch fouled back, and he has been a terrific ambassador for the game of baseball, and really, in particular, for the Cleveland Indians.
For the Cleveland Indians, just for life in general, representing his country, for baseball as a model citizen.
Mm-hmm. He's still here on most days or nights if he doesn't have something on the schedule, and there aren't many people that keep a busier schedule than Feller. Gutierrez strikes out, 2 down. Second strikeout today for Aaron Laffey. Let's pause 10 seconds right now and let stations identify themselves. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Glad to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. 3-2 Mariners lead it in the third inning. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you. Rob Johnson will bat with the bases empty and 2 away. Breaks his bat and bloops it in for a base hit. 7th hit for Seattle today. And it'll bring up Ryan Langerhans. Well, that home run by Ben Francisco means more money for the Gathering Place, a wonderful community that helps individuals and families battling cancer. Thanks to Great Clips, we are up to $6,000 now on the year. Great Clips donating $50 for every Indians homer. Rick and I are each pitching in $5 per dinger. You can make a donation as well. Log on to touchedbycancer.org. Ryan Langerhans looks at a first pitch strike. Up until today, the Mariner left-handed hitters had really been held in check by the Indians. Came in batting 149 in the series. Russell Branyan hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. Ichiro also had a hit.
Yeah, and they're predominantly a left-handed hitting ball club. You know, that's their strength. Although they have fared well against left-handed pitching this year.
1-2 pitch. Almost chased after it, but held up. Two balls and 2 strikes. 2 down here in the third.
15 and 12 against left-handed starters.
And a 2-2 pitch hit in the air to center. Francisco's got it measured, and the inning is over. We will go to the bottom of the third here at Progressive Field. It remains Seattle 3, Cleveland 2. 3-2, but it certainly has been a beautiful afternoon so far. Top of the order for the Tribe: Grady Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo. Grady tried to bunt his way aboard, but fouled it right back. The 0-1 swung on and missed. And the count quickly 0-2. Up high, a ball and 2 strikes. Like Jared Washburn, Eric Bedard, 30-year-old left-hander, is being rumored to be on the trading block should the Mariners falter here before the trading deadline. Bedard avoided arbitration this year and signed a 1-year deal for almost $8 million. Bedard told reporters in Seattle he's not really thinking about the trade line and claimed he didn't even know when it was.
You know what? That may surprise some people, but that's true. Ball players don't know.
They don't pay attention to that stuff.
No, they're locked in your own little world, man. They get into their little routine, and their job is to go out every 5 days and pitch. They do their work, do what you have to do. They don't know what a trade deadline is.
He figures, hey, if I get traded, somebody will tell me.
You know, that's exactly right. The only way you know is if you watch TV and they're reporting it.
Boy, he just missed outside. Looked like he wanted that pitch. Would have been his 4th strikeout. Instead, it's his 2nd walk, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in the 3rd inning. Let's check out our great clip of the game from last night's ball game. Grady Sizemore with a sprawling catch in left center field, and then up against the wall to take some extra bases away. Relax. You're at Great Clips.
Those were, for Grady, routine catches. You know what I mean? You know, for other people, they're very good catches. For him, it seems like they're routine.
Cabrera looked at a bunt attempt, but pulled it back as the pitch came inside. I don't know if it's a case where the Indians have made some adjustments here now, or if Bedard just simply isn't as sharp, because he came out of the gate first 3 batters. It looked like, oh boy, it's going to be a long day for the hitters.
Well, not quite as sharp, because he walked Peralta in the 2nd inning with 1 out, and then he made the mistake to Francisco, and it was 2 quick runs. Again, the walks. When you give the Indians base runners, they seem to do much better when they can walk 3-4 times a ball game.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was reading through Bart Swain's meticulous press notes today, and I happened to notice that down at Akron, a team that's been great all year in the Eastern League, the Arrows, they drew 10 walks last night. Nick Weglars drew 4 of them, which tied a club record. He's 2nd in the Eastern League in walks. Carlos Santana leads the league in walks. So the top 2 base on balls hitters in the Eastern League belong to Akron.
Well, I mean, those help you, man. They fuel the fire, you know, when you're not going well, and you take a walk to get on base, and that's when you do that as a team, it wears down that starting pitcher.
Short hop to 3rd by Woodward, goes to 2nd for 1 relay, not in time, but boy, it was a close play, and Woodward did a terrific job on an in-between hop to get the lead runner, and Lopez nearly turned 2. We'll send you back right now to the Channel 3 studios for a Ford Sports Update.
All right, fellas, we go north of the border. Toronto, Boston this afternoon. And here, Rod Barajas with a couple aboard. Doubles down the left field line. He gets them both home. And Toronto takes a 2-1 lead over Boston. They're in the 4th inning now at Rogers Center. Back to you.
Here is Shin-Soo Choo. Bounced out to second base his first time up. Having a tough series against his former team. 2 for 13 with 6 punch outs. And overall, Choo may have hit the wall for the first time this year, just 3 out of his last 29.
Well, that could be. You were talking about Bedard, you know, that first time through his first 19 pitches, 15 were strikes. Since then, 34 pitches, 20 strikes. So you see that strike throwing is slowed down.
You know, along with that number I gave you about Shin-Soo Choo, let's also remember that, you know, he's still a young player, and yet he's batted for the most part in the middle of the order all season long.
Guys are going to go through slumps, man. You're going to hit times where you're exhausted, you're tired, you know, and just coming off an all-star break, and he'll pick it back up, and he'll get back in the groove. That's all a part of playing every day at the major league level. You got to ride out some of the, you know, some slumps.
Is it harder, though, for a younger player when you're in the middle of the lineup as opposed to batting seventh?
Sometimes, you have to minimize and find a way to, and he does it well because he walks. A lot of guys, they go into prolonged slumps. Victor's one that's, I've never seen him be in one before, but he doesn't take the walk like Choo does, you know, so he's not giving at bats away a lot of times. Right now, he's swinging through a lot of pitches and striking out too much. You know, he's got to shorten the swing or just cut it down a little bit to put the ball in play.
Cabrera almost took off, took about 2 big strides and then stopped. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count now with a runner at first and 1 down here in the third. Tribe trailing it by a run.
But that's what you want. I mean, that's where other guys in that lineup have to pick you up. As a guy that's hit in the middle and he's done a good job for this team, they've got to start picking Choo up so he can relax a little bit and get back to his thing.
There goes the runner. Checked on the ball up high. Throw down to second, and he's in there safely. Close play, but Cabrera gets his 10th stolen base of the year.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a feat in itself because the catchers for the Mariners have done a nice job. They've thrown out 38% of the base stealers this year. It's very good. That is leading the league, and that one just a little to the left as he gets in there. And when you look at Johnson, he's done a fine job. He's thrown out 28% of them.
3-2 pitch hit to center field, but right at Franklin Gutierrez, and that's out number 2. So back to second goes Cabrera, and to the plate is Victor Martinez. And you talked about it, Rick, a slump like you've never seen him in before. And we've seen Victor, boy, as hot as anybody in the game, and we've seen him go through slumps. But for Martinez now, since May 22nd, and that marks the first game of that interleague series in Cincinnati, he's batted .188.
That's unbelievable. That's 2 months. 2 months. For as good as he was for the first 2 months, he's been as bad the second 2.
Yeah. And therefore a called strike. Well, and for Victor Martinez, that batting average, well, he was at 400.
I remember they were talking about it. We were talking about it. And I said, no, there's just no way anybody's going to get hit 400. For 6 months? No.
The 0-1 hit to right field. Back goes Ichiro, and he pulls it down. 3 complete from Progressive Field. It remains Seattle 3, Cleveland 2. Lots of sunshine today in downtown Cleveland. If you're sitting in the sun, it's perfect. If you're in the shade, maybe a tad on the cool side. Game time temperature here today was 66 degrees.
Was it really?
Grounded right to third. Peralta scoops it up. Johnny takes care of Chris Woodward, one down. Hey, Rick, we're back on WKYC Channel 3 in 2 weeks as the Tribe finishes off a weekend series with the Detroit Tigers. Catch all the action Sunday, August 2nd at 1 o'clock right here on WKYC Channel 3, your official Cleveland Indians station. A lot of Channel 3 baseball coming up later in the season on Sundays. Ronnie Cedeno had a check swing single his first time up. Fouls it out of play here. 0-2 the count. Well, it's good to see that Aaron Laffey was able to rebound from what was almost a disastrous start here today.
Well, they had a guy warming up in the first inning, but it goes to show you, if you get through that, then you can get into the and regroup. After that, you can get through the first inning. You have a chance to settle in. But what happened was that 2 runs in the second inning now gave him life. So now he realizes, hey, I got to keep my team in it.
Now the 0-2 pitch. And Cedeno spoils it.
You know, this is a Seattle team. Offensively, they're not that good. You know, I mean, they're 13th in the league in runs scored. They're a team that can be pitched to. I'm not saying that, you know, they're terrible or anything like that, but they have a lineup that can be pitched to. They're, as far as hitting home runs, they're 12th in the league.
Broke his bat behind the bag. Nice stop by Johnny. Long throw, got him.
Nice play.
Terrific play for out number 2.
I'll tell you, Johnny's made some nice plays at third base. I really like him over there. And, you know, for just being the first time he's gone over, he's played third base before, but it's a different angle than being in the middle of the diamond, and he has made some very good plays over at third base. Getting used to it takes a while.
He's done a really good job on
Backhand.
plays to the line, plays in the hole. That's where his range is always going to be limited. I mean, that's not going to change.
But normally your glove hand is where you're going to go better. You usually go better to your glove side.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you, too, though, on the fact that I think, and it's not that he's never been here before. He's played it in the minor leagues. He's played it in winter ball. But I think as he gets more acclimated and more experienced, he's going to know positioning-wise to cheat over a little bit on hitters.
Yes,
that's over.
Help. And, you know, we have a lot of left-handers on this team. And left-handers, man, I mean, at third base, you get some funky hops because the left-handers, and they're not power left-handers. You get sinker balls, so you get some bullets hit at you. You get some toppers hit at you. You get guys who are going to bunt. So with 3 or 4 left-handers in our rotation, it's a lot tougher for him at third base. Nobody even thinks about that. He gets more action over there.
Aaron Laffey was trying to throw Ichiro in, trying to pound it in there, but he winds up walking him, which with 2 outs isn't necessarily all bad if you make your pitches here to Russell Brandon. Here's an interesting note from Tommy Bowe. The Mariners started this game 4 for the first 5. We talked about they were all over Laffey. Then Carl Willis went to the mound, and since then, they're 3 for 12. And the only 3 hits, that check swing, single, broken bat, bloop single, and the double that was hit by Jose Lopez.
Well, I think Carl must have seen something mechanically wrong.
Francisco flying in. He's not going to get there. On his way to third goes Ichiro, and the throw not in time. Mariners at the corners with 2 down. Branyan bloops one in front of Ben Francisco, who was playing deep and couldn't get there.
Well, it's off the end of the bat with the swing, and Ben went sideways before he started coming in. You know, normally that's a place where you can read the baseball pretty well in center field. But with the big swing, sometimes it fools you. He didn't come in originally. He broke 2 or 3 steps to his right before he came in, so it falls in. 2-out base hit, first and third.
And the bad news with that is you got to deal with Jose Lopez, who is just a house of fire right now. 7 hits and 15 at-bats in this series. Now a 7-game hitting streak. 10 for his last 28 during his tear. And it's outside. And just when it looked like Aaron Laffey was going to go 1, 2, 3 and maybe get through the inning, the walk to Suzuki. And now the blue pit. Now he's.
It's all right. Big hitter right here. Get this guy.
The 1-1. Slow chopper to
There you
short.
go.
Cabrera with the flip, inning over. So Laffey does a nice job to work around some trouble. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-2 Mariners. Leads off for Cleveland. Takes the first pitch strike from Eric Bedard. Peralta walked and scored ahead of Ben Francisco's 2-run homer in the 2nd inning. You know, it's surprising with Peralta's offensive numbers this year is that at home, he's really had a tougher time than on the road, batting .248, 1 homer and 14 runs batted in.
Well, like we say, sometimes it's you can't figure it out. Lefties, righties from one year to the next, home road from one year to the next. You would think most people, and Johnny's been around long enough and in this ballpark long enough, you would think as many games, you play 80, 81 games here a year, that you would have your comfort zone here. You know, and I can see an occasional park on the road where you do well, but it just works like that sometimes.
In the hole, a base hit for Peralta, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. He got that one past Woodward, the third baseman. I think a lot of it, too, is the fact that, you know, for Peralta this year, partly because of, you know, his inconsistencies and the overall offensive inconsistencies, he's bounced up and down in the lineup. Remember last year, with the injuries, Eric Wedge pretty much put him in the middle and left him there.
He was fourth
last
last year. Yeah, after Victor was hurt and Hafner was out for the rest of the year, he hit fourth and did a terrific job. But you cannot be inconsistent and hit fourth and stay there for any length of time. Last year, the second half of the year, he did not. He was very solid. He ended up with 90 RBIs, and he was one of the reasons why the offense was so good in the second half.
This
and
scoreboard
Garko too.
This scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Ryan Garko struck out his first time up. Bedard's 0-1 pitch. Right back, 0-2. Eric Bedard, 15 of his first 19 pitches in this game were for strikes. Since then, different story. Only 25 of his next 42 were strikes. Up high, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you can see when he makes that slide step too. You know, he's a guy that likes to turn that shoulder, get a runner on base. And what happens when you slide step, you rush everything, and that's why everything's upstairs. You don't let your arm catch up to your motion because you're not kicking that leg up. There it is. That's different. It's a totally different pitch.
Strikes out Garko. 4th punch out for Bedard. 1 down here in the 4th inning.
Watch, he turns this time and lifts the leg up without a slide step, and he drills the inside corner. Locks Ryan Garko up.
Ryan might have thought it was a little bit high. It's one of those pitches that just above the belt, sometimes they don't get called for strikes.
Well, too close to take with 2 strikes. I always say never leave it in the umpire's hands. You know, you don't give him an opportunity to call you out when it's that close.
Ben Francisco, his 2-out, 2-run homer in the second, got the Indians on the board today. Now he bloops one into center field, another hit. Peralta will stop at second. Gutierrez got to it quickly. And the Indians have 2 on with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Well, he got a fastball his first at bat and picked down a breaking ball there. And look at Ben, but hits by direction. You talk about being a dead pull hitter for the most part. That's why his average is so low. He's not using the whole field. This was a hanging breaking ball. He goes to center field, so put another hit. So what'll it be? 21 now. 44 to left. Just 2 hits to right field. He's not taking anything away and staying on the ball to go that way with it.
Now Luis Valbuena. Big swing and a miss.
Bedard hung him a curveball his first at bat when he got a base hit. That time he ran one right by him.
Just his second hit this year against left-handed pitching, but limited opportunities. 2 for 11. The 0-1. Bunts it by the mound. Charging Lopez. Barehand grab and throw, and he got him. Now credit Lopez for hustling in, because once a guy got by Bedard, Valbuena had a chance maybe at a base hit, and now he comes up holding that left arm against his body. That head first slide at first base, well, not a good idea normally.
Bunting for a base hit is what he's doing, and it's just a little too hard. You see, the infielders are cheating in a little bit more too to play a double play depth, and it was a nice attempt, but a little too hard. Lopez makes the play. That should be a regular out 4-3, but I believe they give him a sacrifice. No sacrifice? Okay, that's a good call because he was bunting for a base hit.
Now runners second and third, 2 down now for Kelly Shoppach, and a chance for the Indians to take the lead. Kelly fouled out. Hit a sky-high pop right at home plate his first time up. The 1-0. Ran it by him. 1 ball, 1 strike. 75 pitches now on the day for Eric Bedard. 49 have been in there, 4 strikes. Shot right back to the screen. Indians got 2 in the second on the 2-out 2-run homer by Ben Francisco. All 3 Mariners runs came in the first inning today. A 2-run homer by Russell Brandon and a 1-out RBI single by Franklin Gutierrez. That's been it for the scoring so far. Eric Bedard with a 1-2 pitch to Kelly Shopik. And he struck him out looking. Inning over. Indians strand a pair. And through 4, it's Seattle 3, Cleveland 2. Play hard, eat fresh. And by Alltel Wireless. Choose who you call for free with My Circle. Any number, any network. Beautiful day. Just perfect. Although it might be a little chilly if you're out on one of the sailboats.
Well, then you put clothes on.
You're going to need a windbreaker.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, you get out on the water. It's about 70 degrees. You got a jacket.
Chris Shelton leads off the 5th inning here for Seattle. Takes a strike. He's 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. That came back in the first. In that 06 season with Detroit, in which Chris Shelton had all the home runs right out of the gate, he finished with 16 dingers on the year after he hit 9 in the first 13 games of the season. Batted .273 on the year, but really fell out of favor quickly. Didn't make the ball club out of spring training in 07. Spent the whole year at AAA Toledo. And then was gone after that year.
Went to the Rangers after that. Well, let me think. Wasn't that 2000? That was with Alan Trammell still there as the manager. But he had a great 2 weeks.
Fouled right back to the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No, Leland was there because they went to the World Series.
In 06, that's right. That was his year, his first year. That's right.
Pretty good battle here. This will be pitch number 85 on the day for Laffey. And the 2-2 is inside, full count. And the payoff pitch swung on and missed. Gets his third strikeout today.
Well, take advantage of great deals at Progressive Field and all Indians team shops this weekend. I guess it ends today. 25% off pennants, Reebok shoes, and children's jerseys, and the entire stock of bobbleheads are 2 for $30. Also buy a couple adjustable hats, get a third free.
There is Franklin Gutierrez, 1 for 2 today. Special happy birthday wishes going out today to Pat Bradley, celebrating her 88th birthday. Gutierrez sends a high drive into deep right field, biting the sun. Shin-Soo Choo makes the grab 2 away. Here's another look at the Alltel Text Bowl question of the game. A little trivia today. First inside the park homer here at Progressive Field. Was it David Bell, Ken Griffey Jr., Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel? Text your answer to 31962, and we'll have the results coming up. 2 down for Rob Johnson, who has walked and singled today. Popped him up. On the infield, Victor Martinez fighting the sun. He'll give way to the second baseman, Valbuena. And the Mariners go 1-2-3 for the first time today. All right, we're going now to the home half of the 5th inning. And for the 3rd time in the ballgame, Grady Sizemore will lead off an inning. He started the game, called out on strikes. He led off the 3rd inning and drew a walk. Now leads off the 5th. Grady is batting .308 in the month of July. That covers 13 games. He has scored 10 runs. He has driven in 10 runs. And he's also had 7 multi-hit games. I hope that's a trend that continues the rest of the year for Sizemore.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the elbow, how it feels. He may have good times, may have, you know, some struggles where you have to back him off a little bit. But I'll tell you, since the break, it seems like it's fine. He's back. I like him. He's back in the leadoff spot in the lineup.
Up high with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We didn't miss by much there, and it goes to a full count at 3-2. There's his dribble Cabrera waiting on deck, and then Shin-Soo Choo here in the 5th. Payoff pitch. He walked him.
Second straight time to lead off an inning. He's walked Grady. We'll see if the Indians can take advantage of it now.
Let's take a look at our All Care Dental Indentures Smiling Easy Cam here this afternoon. Just a beautiful day at the ballpark. Lots of kids in attendance for another Kids Fun Day. And the Indians hoping to send them all home with a smile here today. With 17 locations across northeastern Ohio, All Care Dental Indentures make seeing the dentist easy. Cabrera bunts it. Bedard fields it. And Cabrera backs up. And they'll tag him out to record the put out. And Grady Sizemore goes into second base on the sacrifice.
Well, you get that tying run now in the scoring position. At first, Branyan was coming to get the ball, so Bedard, his only play is get it, and job done. Sacrifice one unassisted. Now it's up to Choo and Martinez, and this is where this guy is at his best. Again, we said it last night in the ball game, but opposition hitting just 5 for 55.
I think this is where Choo's going to turn things around. He is overdue. 0 for his last 8 and 2 for 14 in the series.
Well, he's seen 70 pitches in this series. 41 of them have been strikes, and Choo has swung through 15 of them. Swings and misses.
Fouled back. All right, now that covers, what did we say, 14 at bats. 15 swing and misses sound like a lot in 15 at bats.
Well, yeah, for him it is. I mean, he's been swinging through a lot of pitches. And for whatever reason, when he's on, he uses the middle of the field. Now, whether it's maybe swinging a little too hard, maybe he's got a little aggression, he wants to do well against his former team, I don't know. But you'd love to see a base hit to left field. I mean, this is a tough lefty. Bedard can be tough on left-handed hitters, and he's especially tough in this situation with a runner in scoring position. But
with all due respect, they've had to deal with Felix Hernandez, Washburn, and now Bedard the last 3 days.
I know.
Those
it
guys
doesn't
are at the
get
top
any
of their
easier.
game this year.
Yes, they are. And when you look at that trio, they're combined 22-11 with an ERA of 2.6. So, I mean, yeah, your work's cut off for you. You've got a long day ahead of you when you got to face 3 straight guys like that. That's why they're, number 1 in the league in ERA. That used to be in the 70s, like going into Baltimore and facing their staff. You go up there, you could have an 0 for 12 and not even bat an eyelash and not get a ball out of the infield. Batista up in the bullpen. It's the first time we have seen him up in the series.
One-two pitch. Outside, he didn't chase after it. Evens the count. Well, this will be pitch number 90 coming up here for Eric Bedard. And we're only in the 5th inning, so if the Indians have accomplished anything today, they've at least made Bedard throw a lot of pitches. Tying run at second base in the form of Grady Sizemore if Chu can deliver a base hit. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Half dozen strikeouts for Eric Bedard, and 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Follow the Tribe on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com at Bat 2009. It's a great new application. It features play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Indians.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase this app today.
Victor Martinez is fly to center, fly to right. Eric Bedard takes a look at Sizemore at second base and fires another strike in there. 0-2. Victor not happy about it. 60 out of 92 pitches for strikes, courtesy of Eric Bedard, who's trying for his 6th win of the year.
That would match all of last year's win total.
Yeah.
It's already he needs 5 2/3 innings to match last year's inning total as well.
Two down, runner at second, and the 0-2 pitch. Broke the bat, bounced it to second. Lopez had it go right through him, and here comes Sizemore to tie the game. How do you like that? That ball somehow went right through Jose Lopez, and the Indians have evened the score at 3 apiece. And
well,
I got to imagine
defense.
that'll be an unearned run.
Oh, yeah, that defense. That might have had some spin.
It must have done something screwy.
Well, the bat landed in the mound. If you look at it, Bedard's lucky. It's going to be our McDonald's I'm loving it replay. Watch the bat stick in the mound. So, you know, it jams him. I mean, that comes in and sticks. And now watch this. It's got a little spin, but it's not that tricky. He just blew it.
He absolutely butchered it.
That's a butcher. That's a 74th error. And I tell you, that continues to haunt this team with the pitching they have. The defense that they play. They're last in the league in defense. And that's going to do it for Bedard. So he has no chance for a win today because of the error there by Lopez.
Yeah, there was no spin on that ball. He just simply whiffed. And the Indians have tied the game, and we've got a new pitcher coming on when we come back. Well, we're back here at Progressive Field. We got a new ball game thanks to a goofy play where Eric Bedard was betrayed by his defense. The 3 walks definitely hurt him. 2 of them came around to score. But that ground ball that was hit really right at Lopez off the broken bat by Martinez, and he just missed it.
It's amazing, isn't it? A big leaguer like that, you figure that's automatic.
There's a high fly ball near the line. Long run for Ichiro. Reaches out and makes a nice catch to end the inning. But the unearned run has tied the game at 3 through 5 innings here in Cleveland. Here in downtown Cleveland, the Indians and Mariners are even up at 3 apiece as we go down to the 6th inning of play. And Aaron Laffey still in there while Eric Bedard has already been replaced for Seattle.
How about that? He's really settled in. After the 3 runs in the first, he's been able to put up 4 goose eggs. And he's right back in this ball game.
Oh, man, he almost got one of his teammates there. That was a nice move to get out of the way. Who was that? I'm not sure.
Well, they know. If you're going to sit out on the step, you better be ready to go. It's not Ballantine, is it?
I think it is Ballantine. That's exactly who it is. He made a nice rolling maneuver.
Guys are, I mean, they sit in there casually and think they're watching a ball game. You'd be amazed how fast they move.
There's a pitch in there for a strike, and the count is 1-2. See if we can get a look at this. Oh, here's the number. Aaron Laffey has really shut down this Mariner lineup since they got all over him to start. Two-two pitch, outside, full count. Now the payoff. Fouled back out of play. Activity now in the Indians bullpen because Laffey will be closing in on 100 pitches here soon.
I want to send out a very happy birthday wish to one of our own, Kelly Myers. Works out at STO, turning 25 today. Kelly, happy birthday to you.
I'll bet that's some kind of celebration. Little blooper. Left side, Cabrera says, "I'll take it," but it's Johnny Peralta who gets back and grabs it just as Cabrera was converging on the scene. Let's check out our Bringing the Gas sequence. Go back to the first inning. Ryan Langerhans facing Laffey.
Laffey's first strikeout of the game started him with a couple of breaking balls, went in with a fastball, missed with a breaking ball, got him down and away.
Direct Energy, simple solutions for your natural gas needs. Chris Woodward flies one in the air to right field, and there is Shin-Soo Choo. Says, I'll take it, 2 down.
Well, you can celebrate Tom Hamilton's 20 years in the broadcast booth. That'll be Friday, July 31st when the Indians host the Tigers. That's a half-off Subway ticket game. Also feature a fireworks show after that ball game. It'll be Friday the 31st when we return home from the West Coast.
Ronnie Cedeno steps in, 1 for 2 today. Johnny Peralta did a terrific job to take a hit away from Cedeno in his last at bat. He extended his hitting streak to 7 in a row with that check swing roller back in the 2nd inning.
Well, I'm sure if Laffey can get out of this, could finish this out, this will be his last inning, but it'll be a heck of a performance after giving up 3 in the first, and he's going to do it.
Backhanded nicely by Valbuena. He'll throw him out.
Nice job.
Aaron Laffey with a great job. 5 shutout innings after he gave up 3 runs to the first 4 batters in the ballgame.
Well, closing out beach weekend here out of Progressive Field. They're having fun. There he is.
Wild thing, Rick Vaughn.
Yes, indeed. The haircut and everything. I want to see him throw now. There is a contract out there to be signed if he can.
Miguel Batista facing Ryan Garco, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs today. Miguel Batista, another Mariner who there are rumors about being on the trade block. I didn't realize, Rick, when I went back and looked, this is his 8th organization.
Yeah. Arizona, Toronto, he's been with quite a few. When they signed him, they weren't sure, you know, they gave him decent money as a free agent. He's closed and he started, you know, so they could have flip-flopped him back and forth as they did. But he hasn't had one solid role.
Yeah, he's a guy who, that ball gets away from the catcher Johnson. Garco down to first, but not in time. And so the strikeout is completed, 2-3. Time now for our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. Franklin Gutierrez had the RBI single that made it a 3-run Seattle first. Ben Francisco got the Indians rolling in the second inning with a 2-out, 2-run homer to make it 3-2. And then the error right here by Jose Lopez. Woohoo! And the Indians tied the game at 3. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com.
That's how the Indians got game 1. I mean, Cliff Lee pitched a gem, mind you, but they did give up a couple of unearned runs in that ball game, and the unearned run today ties the game up.
I was going to say before about Batista, Rick, you don't see many guys. He made 31 starts for Toronto in 2004.
Right.
And the next year, made 71 appearances all out of the bullpen.
Right.
I mean, that's
they didn't know what to do
quite a
with him.
transformation
Yes,
from
it
one
is.
year to the next. I think back to Jose Mesa, who made all of those starts and I think was the Indians' top winner the last year of the old stadium, and then became, you know, a reliever, and then 2 years later was
it up. He was a closer.
Top setup or a closer in the American League. Francisco strikes out, 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Let's go back to the update desk right now for a Ford Sports update.
All right, guys, let's go to Chicago, where the White Sox in the 3rd inning were trailing the Orioles by 1, but Dwayne Wise picks this moment for his first homer of the season. He ties it up at 1 apiece. They're now on the top of the 4th inning on Chicago's South Side. Back to you.
Luis Valbuena, 1 out of 2 today. Looks at a ball in the dirt. You want to talk about the ultimate tease? Miguel Batista was originally signed in 1990 by the Expos. In 1992, the Pirates took him in that Rule 5 draft, so you got to put him in the big leagues.
Right.
He pitched exactly 1 game that year, 2 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. They shipped him back to the Expos. Said we can't keep him on our big league roster. He's not ready yet, so they sent him back. He did not appear in another big league game until 1996. So to get there that quick and then all of a sudden have him say, yeah, we're going to send you back, and not just send you back, but sent all the way back to the minor leagues until he got to the show with Florida for all of 9 games that year. And then in 97, 11 appearances with the Cubs before finally breaking through for good in 1998 with the Montreal Expos. Just missed low. Close pitch, but it's ball 4 and a 2-out walk for Valbuena. That'll bring up Kelly Shopik.
Birthday wishes going out to Jack Mulholland from Fremont, Ohio, turning 85 today. Jack, happy birthday to you. And Nancy Llewellyn of Butler, Ohio, turning 70. Nancy, happy birthday to you.
There's Kelly Shopik now 0 for 2. Hey, for an in-depth review of this week's action and a look at what lies ahead for the Tribe, watch Indians Tonight on WKYC Channel 3. You'll get highlights, player interviews, and much more. Indians Tonight comes your way tonight at 11:30 on WKYC Channel 3. Valbuena has just 1 steal on the year, but Batista must figure he's itching to go. What happened?
Well, they called timeout. He was holding it. And I heard somebody in the stands yelling time, but obviously Shopik gave the vocal command, and the umpire must have called it without putting his hands up. You know, you didn't see him go up.
I didn't see anybody move hands. That's
so verbally he heard it, and they called it, I'm sure. Sometimes you don't see that from our vantage point or around, and you think it's a balk. But anytime that pitcher holds the ball as a hitter, you have to call timeout. He's trying to let that base runner give something away. See, he quick pitched him there.
1 ball, 1 strike. He must really feel, or the Mariners must really feel like the Indians are going to put something on here.
Well, with 2 outs, I wouldn't think so. You've got Shoppach up. He swings through too many pitches. You've got Grady, the on-deck hitter. If Shoppach makes an out, I think I'd rather have Grady leading off the 7th than having Kelly Shoppach lead it off if you get thrown out. And Valbuena's not a base stealer.
Well, then Miguel Batista must just be infatuated with throwing over to first base.
Sometimes pitchers do that. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes, you know, they get caught up into that situation. Here you're just looking for the out. If you pay a little bit of attention to a base runner who's not a base stealer, a base runner, they're not going to go. You'll shorten their lead up, and you know they're worried more about you as a pitcher. Now you say that's a wasted pitch out for me because of the situation I just told you.
Exactly.
Not a base stealer and a guy that swings through pitches. Now you just give you let Kelly Shoppach right back into the count. Exactly right.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Oh, man, that took the mask right off of Rob Johnson behind the plate. He brushes it off like no big deal.
He's going to say, don't do that to me. You're a fellow catcher. You know better than that. Not much you can do, boy. A direct hit, it just misguides that baseball up a few inches right into the mask. A deflection.
Again, the 2-2. Grounded to third, fair ball. Down the left field line it goes. Valbuena turns 2, on his way to third, and he's going to hold there. Into second base with a 2-out double is Kelly Shoppach. And now the Indians have runners at second and third with 2 down, and you wonder if Batista paying all that attention to Valbuena may have lost a little concentration because he had Shoppach down on the count, but the pitch out got him back to even. And then Kelly rifles it right over the bag.
Yes, he did. It almost looked like it hit the bag.
It did. Hit the back side of it.
And it stayed down, and it stayed down. Hit the back side of the base, and it just stayed down where Valbuena wasn't going to score. Langerhans got over to it in time. So 2 outs. The Indians with a chance to take a lead now with 2 outs. They tied the game last inning on an error. Chance to take the lead here.
All the hitting today has been done by the bottom of the Indians' order. The 5 through 9 hitters are combined 5 for 13. The top 4 guys 0 for 9. Now Grady Sizemore has walked twice, and he's the batter here. He scored the tying run in the 5th inning. Just missed for ball 1. There's a fly ball, going to slice foul out of play. 1-1 the count. Go ahead run at third, Luis Valbuena. Kelly Shoppach, the runner at second. 2 down, bottom of the 6th inning. And it's outside. 2 balls and a strike. Right-hander deals, and it's 3-1. And if he walks Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera would be next. Everything to Grady has been away, away, away. He doesn't want to give Sizemore anything he can pull right here. Check swing. Foul on another pitch that was away.
Now you can see the movement. He has that ball that just runs away naturally to a left-hander. So he starts it out middle of the plate, and you can see it just take off. Watch the movement going away. See how that ball starts middle of the plate? It just runs. Yeah.
And then it took off on him.
You got to shorten it up and don't take a big swing with the movement he has.
Payoff pitch, swatted foul. Out of play down that left side. I guess your fear as a hitter now with 2 strikes is he runs that pitch out there and straightens it out. And if you don't swing
at it. You're just looking to protect here. You want to put the ball in play. Second and third. There are 2 outs. They had that situation before with 2 outs, and they took a called third.
Ball 4, he missed away, and the bases are loaded. 3rd walk for Grady Sizemore today. And the batter will be Asdrubal Cabrera. With the bases full of Indians and 2 outs. And boy, if Asdrubal Cabrera will be remembered for anything this year, it may be the big 2-out hit. It's been part of his repertoire all season long.
He's like the fellow shortstop Cedeno. 11 of his 16 home runs have RBIs have come with 2 outs, I should say. Kelly is up and warming.
Asdrubal Cabrera is 2 out of 6 in bases loaded situations this year, and most of them have been with 2 outs. In fact, 7 of the 8 have all been the 2-out situations. So he's 2 for 5 with the bases loaded in 2 outs. All told this year, just with runners in scoring position, Asdrubal with 2 outs has driven in 16 in these 2-out clutch situations. So let's see if he can come through once again. Takes the first pitch, strike. This is the first at bat for the Indians in this series with the bases loaded. And again, that has something to do with the fact that Mariners pitchers are pretty good. They don't walk many, they don't mess around. It's one of the few times the Indians have been in their bullpen early. Cabrera bounces it to first. Brannion's got it. The flip, and the inning is over. So the Indians leave him loaded, and we're still tied at 3 through 6 innings. Solutions for all your natural gas needs. Visit directenergy.com/GoTribe for details. And by AM/PM. Too much good stuff. Still tied at 3, and as we go to the 7th inning, the Indians will go to their bullpen for the first time today. Aaron Laffey went 6 strong innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits, walked 2, struck out 3. Tony Sipp, for the 17th time this year, will try to hold the Mariners at bay.
Tell you what, Laffey did a nice job today to settle down and get through 6 innings. After the first 4 hitters of the game, he had three runs.
He retired the last 7 in a row.
On what, 15? How many pitches did he have?
The last 5 went on 14 pitches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he really.
So, to his credit, he
well.
really battled back.
When you consider Mike Gosling was warming up 4 batters into the game, and he ends up giving you 6. That's pretty good.
Now you turn it over to the bullpens.
Ichiro Suzuki, Russell Brandon, Jose Lopez here in the 7th. Sip backs him off the plate. Rifle down the right field line into the corner. It's going to go. Chu will dig it out, but not before Ichiro Suzuki has a leadoff double here in the 7th, his 2nd hit of the ball game.
He didn't mess around on that fastball, did he? Turned on it in a heartbeat.
And that's what I said. If you try to throw inside and you miss on the plate, that's what the result is.
Well, you see how he got through that one? Before he was looking away. This time he picked on one of Tony Sipp's fastballs and hit it down into the corner for his 19th double. So a good start to the 7th inning now for Seattle.
In fact, the way on the replay, the way he swung at that ball, it looked like he was looking in that time.
I'm sure he was. That's why you have such a good swing. You cut the plate in half when you're a veteran hitter. You look in, and if you're looking in, you don't miss your pitch. And if it's away, you take it.
He saw the fact that they were throwing him in consistently. So
and this
why
guy
not?
throws harder than Laffey. So, you know, he's cheating in there, but it's all part of the game.
Russell Brandon, 2-run homer back in the 1st. He had a single in the 4th. 4 hits now in the series.
See, this is where it's tough to see Brandon hit 2nd, I would think. Because now you're looking for a guy to move along a runner in a tie game in the 2nd spot, and he's swinging for the fences. You know, and you could easily punch him out, and the runner cannot advance.
Brandon started the day tied for 2nd in the league with 22 homers, so that dinger in the 1st gave him 23. And he swings and misses on 3 pitches, and he is gone for out number 1 here in the 7th. Let's get a look at our Mercedes attention assist of the game. And speaking of assists, it was exactly that. Ryan Garco went into the corner to dig it out and then made a nice assist on the throw.
Watch the good throw, right chest high. Cabrera with the throw to the plate easily gets Cedeno. Nice play. Nice relay.
We've got a timeout here at Progressive Field. Eric Wedge going to go to the right-hander now. We are tied at 3 in the 7th. Tied at 3. Mariners go ahead run second base, 1 out, 7th inning. Right-handed hitting Jose Lopez at the plate. Right-hander Joe Smith on in relief for the Indians. And a swing and a miss by Lopez. Mariners have gone 2 for 7 against the Indians bullpen in the series with a runner in scoring position.
Well, and this is where Joe Smith can pay dividends here. Matching up against a right-hander, they may end up going to the bench pinch hit, and Shelton's on deck. But, boy, in a situation like this, late in the game, you're facing the right-handers. His job to get him out, and he did that.
As Drupal Cabrera says, I'll take it. He does. 2 down.
Shelton's coming to the dish, so he will hit. Well, Progressive Field will transform into a unique restaurant. The return to Dinner on the Diamond will take place on July 25th. And it's really a fun time. It's a casual night. You come in on the home run porch. You spend an hour. You have cocktails, eat hors d'oeuvres. Then they give you a baseball. You walk down onto the field. You play catch. You got the ball game on the big screen. You sit down. You have a little dinner, and it's a great night. Had by all. So come on out. Dinner on the Diamond, the 25th of July. Good time.
Chris Shelton takes a strike. The decision for Don Wakamatsu here is whether or not to pinch hit Ken Griffey Jr. He's also got Jack Hanahan, a left-handed hitter, but you would assume Jr. would be the candidate to go against the right-hander Joe Smith in this situation, but he decides to stay with Shelton, and the count is quickly 0-2. Now Wakamatsu may be saving Griffey Jr. for later in the ball game, but you think if he gets him in here and he delivers the hit, then you can turn it over to your bullpen for the last 3 innings. But he may be just saving him for an 8th or 9th inning appearance, if he even gets into that kind of a matchup situation that he likes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shelton doubled and scored in the first. He has grounded out and struck out since then. Now, sometimes managers will give players a day off and not even think about using them. But with a day off tomorrow, you wouldn't think that's the case for Wakamatsu with Griffey here.
Boy, you never know anymore.
Well, and you never know how guys are feeling, too.
Exactly.
Some guys come in and say, hey, boy, I'm really stiff, or this hurts or that hurts. And so managers will just try to stay away from that player. Uh-oh, that goes all the way to the backstop. Down to third goes Ichiro. And now a full count. A wild pitch puts the go-ahead run just 90 feet away.
Whoa. Little slide piece that kept on sliding.
Like a block of ice going downhill. Now the payoff pitch, swung on and missed. Joe Smith gets the big strikeout to end the inning and keeps the go-ahead run stranded at third. Stretch time in Cleveland, tied at 3. Hey, fans, don't forget you can stop by and enjoy the game, plus pizza, wings, or one of their famous overstuffed sandwiches on the beautiful outdoor patios, home of the famous overstuffed sandwich, Panini'sGrill.com.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's always great to be back at home. Here in the booth, all our good friends.
How many tickets did you leave today?
Not a one, believe it or not.
You're kidding.
But
friends are at the ballpark,
know,
friends and family?
I know people.
You know a lot of people. I know that.
Here's Sean Kelly, right-hander coming on for Seattle. Third pitcher for the Mariners today.
Kelly pitched in the first game of the series. He went an inning, gave up 2 hits, did not allow a run or a strikeout, or did not walk anybody. So coming on to face Chu, Martinez, Peralta here in the bottom half of the 7th. They flew all the way from Australia to see the Tribe. Well, welcome.
That is a long flight. I'm guessing that's one of those 20-hour deals. Shin-Soo Choo went too far in the bunt attempt. 0 for 3 today. 2 for 15 in the series. Mariner bullpen, meanwhile, has worked 10 innings. 10 scoreless, 6 hits allowed, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Choo lifts a fly ball deep to left. Back goes Langerhans and makes a nice catch. He went up about a stride in front of the wall and made the grab. And we'll go back to the studios for another Ford Sports Update.
All right, fellas, let's go to the Bronx. It was 1-0 Detroit here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Alex Rodriguez of Edwin Jackson ties it up with his 19th homer of the year. Now 1-1. They're in the top of the 5th inning at New Yankee Stadium. Back to you.
1 out for Victor Martinez. On that Seattle bullpen stat, they did give up 1 unearned run. But as we told you at the outset of this series, not only are they tops in starting pitching, but they were second in bullpen when the second half began.
They're right there. They've got a nice combination going. Ouch.
Martinez fouled that off the leg.
Oh, my goodness. He fouled it high off his front leg. That tells me that you're swinging at the pitch way too far inside, if that's the case. I mean, oh, yeah, he's got – let's see where it's at. He had to get that. That's just above his protection, just underneath the knee. And, I mean, to get that ball out there, you've got to get the hands out front. So that ball had to be so far inside.
I'm trying to remember. When he did that earlier this year, was it from this side of the plate or was it the other?
Might have been the other side, the right side.
That was when he went down in a heap right at home plate.
Where was that, in Detroit?
For some reason, I thought it was here. Missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One out here, bottom of the 7th inning. And we are tied at 3. 2 down. Martinez, the strikeout victim. Hey, fans, don't forget, coming up Monday, August 3rd at Quail Hollow Resort and Country Club, Cleveland Indians Charities Classic. Great golf outing. You'll enjoy breakfast, lunch, a post-golf cocktail party. There are prizes available. Log on to Indians.com or call 216-420-HITS and reserve your spot today. Always a great afternoon of golf, and I'm sure we'll have another fantastic event. Here's the set by Kelly in the 1-1. Swung on and missed. Two down, bases empty, bottom of the 7th inning. Peralta today has walked and scored, singled and flied out to right. Kelly with a 1-2. boy, didn't miss by much. He was off to the dugout, but it's called a ball. Same spot, this one catches the corner. Indians go 1-2-3, and we'll go to the 8th. Tied at 3.
Cast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
We roll along to the 8th inning here at Progressive Field, where the Indians and Mariners still tied at 3. All the scoring came in the first couple innings, save the tying run, which crossed the plate in the 5th for Cleveland. Mariners led it 3-0 in the first. 2 batters into the game, it was 2-zip when Russell Branyan took Aaron Laffey deep. And then 5 batters into the game, it was 3-0. But then Laffey settled down and went 6 innings, scoreless the rest of the way. Indians got on the board in the 2nd on a 2-out, 2-run homer by Ben Francisco. Tied the game in the 5th on an unearned run when Jose Lopez, the second baseman, had a ground ball go right under his glove, and Grady Sizemore scored to tie it, and that's where we've been stuck ever since. Franklin Gutierrez, 1 for 3, will lead off the 8th inning for Seattle. And he takes the first pitch strike. Gutierrez faced Betancourt yesterday and grounded out to short. Swung on and missed. Got him to chase the off-speed pitch. 0-2 the count.
Seattle's a team that have been in a lot of close games this year. They lead the league in 21 one-run wins. They're 21-13. That's how many close games they've been involved in.
There's a base hit to lead it off in the left field. So Gutierrez aboard to start the 8th inning. And that's going to bring up Rob Johnson, who has walked, singled, and popped up on the infield.
Well, they started last inning off with a double. They never moved the runner around.
Oh, they got to be sacrificing
Oh,
here,
that's
don't
what
you
I'm
think?
saying. Absolutely. Now you get your second straight guy on, but then you have a different style hitter at the plate as compared to Russell Branyan. Gutierrez, another hit in this series. He's had a very good series.
2 today, 5 in the series.
0-2 pitch from Betancourt, though. That was a little too good for Goot.
Low throw. Gutierrez does have 6 steals, but you can almost guarantee Johnson will be trying to move him over here. Betancourt sets. Nope, he's swinging away and fouls it away.
Boy. Well, surprising. I mean, you've got the left-hander Langerhans on deck, but we don't. I mean, they're 21 one-run wins. We don't know how they play.
And Johnson has swung the bat well here in the series. 3 hits in 9 at-bats. One of those hits was a double. Now hit in 6 straight games.
Well, he figures he's a fastball hitter and doesn't want to give up an out with a bunt.
Or he might have given him 1 pitch. Let's see if he squares here. Nope. Runner goes. Took it for a strike throw, and it gets away from Valbuena. But Gutierrez will have to hold. He didn't get a good look at where the ball went initially. Otherwise, he may have been able to get up and go to third.
He would have. If he picked up the baseball, he would have been able to get to third base. But it looked like the ball came out of the glove of Valbuena. It was not a bad throw. Let's see by Shopik. He gets rid of it. It's on the right side of the base. You got to catch that ball. That's an out. Shopik made a good throw. Valbuena, it's off his glove. You go in front of the base. He never caught it. Right off the end of the glove. That's not a good play for Valbuena. You got to catch it and tag him and put him out. That was a good throw by Kelly Shopik. They had him dead to rights at second base. As a stolen base.
And now Rob Johnson down on the count 0-2. Just missed down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mariners have left 7 men on base in this game so far, 5 of them in scoring position. This has been a trouble spot for him, not only today but all year long. The 1-2 up high. And when you're struggling to score runs and you don't have those big mashers who can erase some of the mistakes that you make, you have to be able to execute.
Yes, you do. I mean, execution, that's the key. But when you have a good bullpen, and the reason why they've won 21, when you do need a run, you seem to score it. And you don't need more than that one once you can get the lead. Because as we've said a number of times, your offense is only as good as your bullpen. So that tells me that when they do get the lead this late in the ball game, they seem to hold it.
Now the count is back to full. He had him 0-2.
Well, it was an 0-2 pitch that Gutierrez got for a base hit.
And the payoff pitch is fouled right back.
He's having some pretty good swings up there.
Now I can see why Don Wakamatsu has stuck with him the rest of this series. And again, we suspect, even though they don't normally make a lot of that stuff public, that Jojima may be a little banged up from a foul tip suffered in the first game of the series. But Johnson has done a terrific job.
Well, that's what you need. You need 25 men on that roster to get you through a year. And sometimes more than that. That's why that 40-man is so important, the depth of the organization. You find out some teams, with a payroll, anywhere from $80 to $100 million. Seattle was normally over $100 million. I mean, you have to have depth when you have guys go down. Right now, Adrian Beltre, their big guy in the middle of the lineup, has been out with a bad shoulder.
Slow chopper fouled away, and Johnson hanging tough.
Well, he's making Betancourt work. This will be pitch number 8.
Franklin Gutierrez representing the go-ahead run is at second base. But on the replay, it showed he should have been out. But Valbuena unable to hold on to the throw from Kelly Shopping. And the payoff pitch is ball 4. So the first 2 Mariners aboard here in the 8th inning. And now Ryan Langerhans is the batter. I don't think he's particularly adept at bunting, so I'll be curious to see what they decide to do here.
No, he's got 2 sacrifice flies, no sacrifices, but only 45 at bats.
He's going to walk over and talk with his third base coach just to make sure. Okay, now what am I doing here?
Well, that's okay. Now you don't have to give a sign.
Yeah.
There's time out over there. The Indians are going to talk about what they're going to do defensively and how they're going to go about this situation. You have time to go over there and talk. And he's saying, look, I'm just going to wait till Skipper puts it on, so stay with me.
Do you ever miss a sign?
Rarely.
It has to happen.
Well, yeah,
right?
but you know what? Signs are so simple. They make them so easy for these guys, and even when we played, so simple.
But if you get up there and you suddenly forgot the indicator, or
you don't forget it,
or you thought it was something and it changed.
We're in August. We're in July.
How often do they change it, though?
They don't change it. They keep it the same way unless you're playing with a guy that got traded from your team. It's very, very simple. Almost like holding up cue cards. Bunt. I mean, you're in a situation, hit and run.
That's true. Most of the time, the situation dictates.
You're watching the game and you know what's going on. You get your job done.
Indians are looking for the bunt here. They're squeezing in at the corners. Langerhans didn't tip his hand as Betancourt turned back towards the runner.
Didn't fool anybody.
It never does.
Well, if you are bunting here in your Langerhans, you bunt it to third and make Peralta field the ball. That's why Betancourt will probably pitch him in.
He squares.
See?
And missed it. Throw back to second base. Close play. But Gutierrez did get back in time.
That's what happens when you're the base runner at second base, and you see the ball and you see the bunter, the guy's bat from you see it perfectly, and he bunts through it, and you're trying to get a good jump to go to third. Sometimes you can get caught out in land, no man's land, and they can throw behind you and get you out.
And that's a set play, Rick. If he bunts through it, you automatically go to second.
Why not? I mean, I don't know if it's a set play, but Kelly read it beautifully. As a runner, you have to make sure the guy puts the ball down. The pressure's on the guy bunting. Put it down in fair territory. You don't have to get a great jump at second base. But you get fooled because you see the bat there, and then all of a sudden it misses it.
This time he pulls it back, and the pitch is low.
But that's what you do. Betancourt knows he's going to try and bunt to the third base side, so you pitch him inside. It's a tougher pitch to bunt to third. And then you can always, if you got a guy that can handle a bat, and it's different now. They don't bunt like they used to. You could always just take that bat back and slap it by if they're charging in. Put it. You don't have to swing hard. Your job is just to put it on the ground. You just want to move the runners up.
1-1 the count.
Look where Victor is. I'd swing, man.
At first. Langerhans bunts it towards third.
Go.
Peralta's got it. He'll go to first. They get the out.
You see how hard he bunted that ball, but he forced Peralta to field it. Nobody was covering third, so he gets his job done. That's a good job. Victor was down his throat at first base. So a good sacrifice.
You see Martinez coming in there.
I mean, he was almost in the batter's box with him. One man per batter's box. Throws him out, gets the job done.
So now the Indians are forced to bring the infield in. Cut of the grass around the horn. And we'll get a pinch hitter here. This is Jack Hanahan batting for Chris Woodward. Griffey Jr., the other left-handed bat on the bench. He's got his batting gloves on. He's preparing for a possible pinch hit appearance.
Well, they figure go ahead. They got to pitch to Hanahan here. And then if they don't get him in, they pinch hit Griffey. They walk Griffey, and then you get Ichiro. But I don't know if I'd walk Griffey with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, everything hinges on this at bat right here. You got to get Hanahan first.
Right. Get this out without a run scoring.
1-0 pitch. Fastball strike. First time the Mariners have had an at bat with a runner at third and less than 2 out.
And for Hanahan, this is only his 14th at bat as a Mariner. His first 132 came as an Oakland A. So he's in a spot where he can be a hero.
1-1. In the air, he does his job.
Get it done.
Chu will make the catch. Tagging at third and coming home is Gutierrez. Going to third and getting in there safely was Johnson. Mariners take the lead 4-3. They do the little things well here. They sacrifice the runners over, and then Hanahan delivers the sac fly on the pinch hit.
That is their 30th sacrifice fly on the year, which is third in the league. So they've done a good job with guys in third base. And Betancourt's a fly ball pitcher. You just look for a fastball up. Hanahan got it and delivers the sac fly. So they will take a 4-3 lead.
And now they won't pinch hit Griffey Jr. here.
Nope.
With Cedeno coming up, they'll let him stay in the game.
Keep your defense out there.
Cedeno 1 for 3. Ain't no slouch either.
Well,
but when you were looking potentially at needing a fly ball, then you get that big uppercut swing at Ken Griffey. Would have been a logical pinch hit choice.
This is a guy that's done it with 2 outs this year. Out of his 16 RBIs, 11 have come with 2 outs. And he's in that situation right now.
Swung on and missed. Well, since they traded Unieski Betancourt, and he's been getting more playing time, Cedeno, 9 of his 16 ribbies have come in his last 16 games.
Yeah. Well, and I told you this yesterday. You're going to pitch to this guy. You've got Ichiro on deck. Suzuki's on deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to, let's go, get aggressive here. And this guy's going to get better pitches to hit, so he realizes that. So you're ready early. 2-out bunt. That didn't surprise anybody.
The 1-2 the count.
So Seattle gets on the board for the first time since the first inning.
But as you stated, in 1-run games this year, they have 21 wins, most in baseball, and that's because they somehow find a way to push that go-ahead run across.
When they need it.
Broke his bat. Cabrera has to hurry the throw, and he just did get him. But the Mariners break the tie on the sac fly, lead it 4-3, middle of the 8th. Some picture perfect afternoon here in downtown Cleveland as you look out onto Lake Erie. But right now, Indians are in trouble, down 4-3. And now they'll have to face the back end of this Mariner bullpen as Jack Hanahan stays in the game at third base. Ryan Garco's had a tough day, 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Will lead it off. And he greets Mark Lowe with a leadoff single. And so the tying run aboard to start the home half of the 8th inning. Sean Kelly worked a 1-2-3 7th with 2 strikeouts. We'll get a pinch runner now as Chris Jimenez comes into the ball game to run for Ryan Garco. Ben Francisco will be the batter. Missed inside for ball 1. Jamie Carroll is still on the Indians bench. Might be looking at a pinch hit appearance here, and that's why he didn't pinch run. But we shall see how everything plays out. Francisco, a 2-run homer back in the 2nd. He blooped a single in the 4th inning, struck out his last time up.
Well, I'm looking down the line, and he's not bunting here because he's hoping he gets aboard. Then you can bunt Valbuena and you'd pinch hit. Probably Carroll for Shopik in that situation.
If it comes to pass, everybody's trying to be ready.
But that's looking down the road. First things first here. You got to get this guy on base.
Mariners have out-hit the Indians today 10-6. The Indians actually out-hit them yesterday. Wound up on the short end of the score. Good pitch in for a strike. 1-2 the count. Bottom of the 8th inning. Tribe down a run. The 1-2 pitch is strike 3 called. 1 down. Let's get a look at the results in our Alltel text poll today. Well, trivia. 48% were all over it. David Bell and that first inside the park homer here at Progressive Field. Hit it off the wall and left, and it rolled back toward the infield. Let's take another look back.
Well, now you'll see where your center fielder was. That was Griffey. That's Glenn Allen Hill playing. Jumps, it deflects off. Let's see, where's your center fielder?
He was nowhere to be found.
He was not. And by the time they could come in, they muffed the throw from third.
You know, maybe because it was David Bell, he was shading him over toward right center the other way.
Doesn't matter. You still got to be
against
over
Randy
there.
Johnson, maybe.
I'm sure.
Luis Valbuena has singled, walked, and grounded to second today. The 0-1 pitch in the air, center field. Gutierrez grabs it, 2 down. This scoreboard update is brought to you by Coors Light. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Well, Kelly Shopik will bat now with a runner first and 2 down. Shopik doubled right over the bag at third last time up in the 6th inning. Takes the ball down low. Two for 6 in the series. Lowe's 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss again. And now Mark Lowe 1 strike away from getting out of the inning after the leadoff single by Ryan Garko.
Well, he's looking for fastballs and swinging at sliders. And he's not going to, he may see a fastball, but it will not be for a strike.
Count remains 1-2. You see Kerry Wood loosening for the Tribe. Kelly Shopik down on the count, trying to keep the inning alive here in the 8th. Everybody was holding their breath on that pitch. Just missed 2-2.
Little breaking ball. Tried to go inside. Front door. Not a bad pitch. Not a bad pitch right there. You look for that breaking ball out over the plate. Not there.
Now Lowe's 2-2. Tap to short. Inning over. We'll go to the 9th. 4-3 Seattle.
Well, Kerry Wood going to come on for the Indians here in the 9th inning and hold a 4-3 game. Wood appearing for the 36th time this year. He was loose a 2-3 record, a 512 earned run average. He's going to face the top of that Seattle lineup, and the difference in that inning, Seattle got their leadoff man aboard. They manufactured a run in the 8th inning. The Indians got their leadoff man aboard, could not do it. Chris Jimenez went into the ball game to pinch run for Ryan Garco. He remains in the game in left field.
Top of the order for Seattle: Ichiro, Russ Brandon, and Jose Lopez. Big curveball missed, ball 1. Down low, 2-0. Suzuki 2 hits in today's game, 5 hits in the series. He's got that batting average back up to 361, which I think is where it was when the series started.
Matter of fact, I will let you know that.
Smashes one into right field for another base hit.
It was 362, and he's going to be up over there.
There you go. Yep. Let's pause for our stations to identify themselves. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Glad you're with us. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here at Progressive Field. Indians trail the Mariners 4-3. Seattle batting in the 9th. They've got the leadoff man aboard now, Russ Brandon, who is 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer and a single today. And that catches the outside corner to even the count. That tells you too, Rick, you know, about conversation we had before about trying to bat 400. When you get to where Ichiro's at 362 coming into the series, he needed 6 hits in the series just to raise his batting average by 1 point.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you got to go 2 out of every 5 or 4 out of every 10. It's just, you know, it's crazy. To sustain something like that at that level, when you're facing so many different pitchers nowadays, it's highly improbable.
After his 6-hit performance in the series, he's raised his average 1 point to 363. Oh, that's off the glove of Kelly, and that's going to send Suzuki down to second base. You know, he bluffed a move, and I'm not sure if Kelly may have taken his eye off the ball to check the runner, and that's why I kicked past him. But Ichiro took a couple of steps and then stopped.
Well, let's see. He was sitting away. You see, he's sitting outside here, and that ball is thrown on the total opposite inside. That was a wild pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, Kerry Wood nowhere near where Kelly Shopik wanted that ball.
And that is how it's ruled, a wild pitch. Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, he missed his target by 3 feet. 3rd wild pitch of the day for the Indians pitchers.
Did he go? No, it's his 3rd base hump, Dana DeMuth. And so Brandon draws a walk. That's the 46th walk for Brandon this year. That leads the Seattle Ball Club. And his career high is 51, which was set back in 2002 when he split the year between the Indians and the Cincinnati Reds. So he's almost at his career high, and we've still got most of the year still to play. Here comes pitching coach Carl Willis after the first 2 Mariners have reached here in the 9th inning. Which, going back to earlier conversations in the series about Brandon, the old theory, leopards don't change their spots. Hitters don't really change all that much. Sure, he's made some adjustments, but he's still going to strike out a lot. We know that. He's still going to hit some monster home runs. We know that. But the one adjustment he's made is he's taking more walks than he ever has before in his career.
Well, that just may come. He's to a certain age where it's finally sunk in that you have to be a little more patient. You know, and, you know, as we said all along, that when you swing at balls out of the strike zone, pitchers will continue to throw the balls out of the strike zone. When you prove you'll swing at strikes, they got to come into it. And Kerry Wood today all over the place.
Well, 9 pitches, only 2 for strikes. One-0 pitch, fouled back. Jose Lopez just 1 for 4 today, but 7 out of 17 in the series, and he's made a believer out of me. But when we first started the series, and you pointed out, boy, kind of an interesting choice to bat third in the lineup. Yeah. The way he's swinging the bat right now, and the way Seattle's constructed, they're not the kind of team that's going to score a ton of runs, so they're trying to maximize.
Well, they have to
everything they can.
They really have to. You know, they're not a team that walks a lot. They're not a team that hits for power. There you see he could not hold up. But they find a way to score enough runs, you know, to win. They've scored so many less runs than the Indians. The Indians have scored 100 more runs than they have. But look at the other side of it. How many they've given up? A lot less, too. Indians have given up 509 runs. Mariners are giving up 376. So there's the difference.
The one thing that Seattle has been able to overcome to this point is their defensive deficiencies.
That will not, you know, over the course, look at this. Not even close.
Ichiro took off, and he'll steal it standing. That's his 20th stolen base of the year.
This inning is getting ugly in a hurry. Look at, he just stands still, takes off. Not even a throw from Shopik.
Infield in now and nobody out. And the 2-2 hammered foul. Look out. Nice grab.
That's why you bring the glove.
And he got the mohawk, the colored mohawk. He's got that. Look at that. That's outstanding.
And Junior's like that, too, his boy. There's Mini-Me.
Mini-Me.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. He's got it dyed red. Perfect.
His wife doesn't know he did that to the kid yet.
Base is loaded. And Kerry Wood's having a tough day.
He is all over the place. He has no clue where it's going.
He's given up a hit. He's walked a batter and now hit a batter, and they're loaded with nobody out.
This one right into the ribs. You can't get out of the. Ouch. Ooh. They have an off day tomorrow in Detroit. I have a feeling he'll be icing that down for a day and a half.
You see Winston Abreu loosening. We're going to get more activity in that bullpen, it looks like. "15 pitches for Kerry Wood so far. Still nobody out. Infield in. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And Chris Shelton is the batter. 1 for 4.
Well, that's why the infield is in with nobody out. You're trying to cut off every run you can right now. You're already down 1. With this Seattle bullpen, you can't afford to fall behind anymore.
The 0-1 pitch checked up high, and it evens the count at a ball and a strike. Foul tipped it, lost the bat. And the count 1-2, and he'll have to walk back and get his lumber.
See if he goes and gets any more of that claw to put on the handle. No. Takes that swing, and back comes the bat.
Well, luckily, it didn't hit the umpire, or he'd have he'd have
a bump.
Yeah. He'd have a pitcher and an umpire working against him. One-two pitch. Hit in the air, left field, shallow, coming hard is Garfield.
May not get it done.
Excuse me, Jimenez, and then the throw is cut off, and so everybody had to hold up. Chris Jimenez did a nice job of charging that ball and making the catch.
Well, with nobody out, you're not going to take the chance. With one out, he may have sent Ichiro because you've got Gutierrez come to the plate, a man who's had a heck of a series. So you don't gamble in that situation. They would send him now. He missed a hanging breaking ball. He got under it, popped it up. Jimenez comes in, hits his cutoff man. Good job. Runners remain.
So Franklin Gutierrez with 2 hits today and 5 hits in the series, including a couple of homers. Ground ball could be 2. Oh, Cabrera boots it. Gets 1. The relay not going to be in time, and the Mariners pick up a huge insurance run and now lead it 5-3.
Well, chance to get out of the inning.
Boy, they had a chance indeed. Instead, it's now 5-3. Gutierrez picks up the ribby, his second of the game, 42 on the year.
I want to see where he was at. He wasn't really back. He was in. It was in between. That's why he got a bad hop. If he's a step back a little bit more, that hop is right there for him. He was really in, a little too close, I believe. That ball jumped up on him and ate him up.
Well, they had the infield partway in for this very reason, trying to turn the double play.
Well, then he could have been back another step or two.
But on the slow chopper, they wanted to have a chance to be able to get the runner at third, I guess. Now they've got first and third, 2 down, and Rob Johnson, who walked in the 8th inning, is the batter. Oh, and 2 the count. Runner goes from first. Gutierrez was off, and the pitch fouled away. Now the 2-strike pitch is checked. Did he go? He did not. And then Gutierrez will go down to second base on the wild pitch, second of the inning.
There was a check, and that ball short hops Kelly Shopik, and it goes out in front, so that's another wild pitch.
Third wild pitch in the last 3 innings. And the 1-2. Just missed with it. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kerry Wood lets it go, and he strikes him out looking. But the Mariners get a big run, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Seattle in front 5-3. advantage as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Seattle will try to close it out with David Aardsma.
For the 3rd straight game, going to come on to close it out. First game with Hernandez in it was not a save situation. Yesterday, it was a save situation. He got his 21st save, and it's also a save situation today, and he's going to face the top of the lineup.
Grady Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo will bat for the Tribe. Swung on and missed, 0-2 the count. Grady 3 walks and a run scored today. That gives him 11 runs scored here in the month of July, and this is 14th game played. 1-2. He's also driven in 10 runs. Two balls, 2 strikes after he had him down. Grady has worked it back to even. Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 1 for Aardsma. And for the Mariners,
12.
That's their 12th strikeout of the game. Here's our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC performance of the game.
Did we just leave his picture up here and just continue to run it day after day? He's had a pretty good series, but today 2 for 5, a couple of ribs, stolen base, run.
He scored the tie-breaking run in the 8th inning after a key stolen base. Pitch is outside to Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera 0 for 3 today. Pop back out of play. Off day tomorrow will greet you from Toronto on Tuesday night, as the Indians embark on a 9-game road trip that will take them from Toronto to Seattle, down the coast to Anaheim, and then back home. And by the time we get back home, it will be the last day of July. Indians Jays from the Rogers Center Tuesday at 7 on Sports Time Ohio. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Got a piece of it. There is Shin-Soo Choo waiting on deck. Indians need 1 base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. And it's a little bit high, 2-2. Stay tuned for the Conrad's postgame show. You'll see that on Sports Time Ohio. For those of you watching locally here on WKYC TV, Celebrity Golf, the American Century Championship is up next. Full count. David Aardsma with a payoff pitch. And Asdrubal pops it up on the infield. Second baseman Jose Lopez makes the catch. 2 down. And the Indians are down to their final out today. Shin-Soo Choo 0 for 4 in the game, 0 for his last 10 overall, and 2 for 16 in the series with 7 punch-outs will be the batter. Foul out of play. And the count quickly 0-2. By the way, Tuesday when we greet you from Toronto, it'll be Cliff Lee on the hill for the Tribe. Just missed outside, a ball and 2 strikes. We'll get Lee in the series opener against the Jays, then Carl Pavano on Wednesday night. To be determined yet for Thursday. 1-2 pitch, fouled back. That's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch again, just a bit outside, full count. So both Cabrera and now Chu have run the string out against David Aardsma. Cabrera popped his 3-2 pitch up. Now let's see what Chu can do. Swung on, foul tipped it into the ground. He stays alive. And if Chu can get aboard, Victor Martinez would represent the tying run at the plate. And the payoff pitch is outside, ball 4. And indeed, the Indians will bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And it will be Victor Martinez, who is 0 for 4 today. Martinez 2 for 15 in the series. But he's got a chance now. Brandon will hold Chu at first base. And it's low for ball 1. Pitch. High drive, right field. Back goes Ichiro on the track at the wall, reaches up and makes the catch to win the game for Seattle. Oh man, what a play by Ichiro, who robbed Martinez at least of extra bases, if not a homer. And Seattle gets out of town, winning 3 out of 4 to take the series. Well, Victor gave it a ride. But just like everything else in this season for the Indians, it came up short. And the Mariners get the 5-3 victory. As the Mariners pitching staff did a good enough job to take 3 out of 4, because it's not like offensively they came out and beat up the Indians, but they did just what they had to do. It's what they've done all season long.
Enough to win. You're exactly right. I mean, that put a scare in him. You know, he walked with 2 outs, walked a guy, but, you know, they had the chance, and like he said, it just comes up short.
Well, let's take a look at our key play of the game. Presented by KeyBank, banking home of the Cleveland Indians, and it will be that last drive off the bat of Martinez.
I thought he had enough, and for some strange reason, it just comes up about a foot short. Ichiro gets back. It was down in the wheelhouse, a fastball. Victor thought he had it. It wouldn't have been a home run, but it would have been off the wall. Certainly would have got a run home. You could see it was down below the yellow line, but Ichiro makes a nice catch. Look at Aardsma. That's his 2nd straight save against the Indians, so they will take 3 out of 4 against the Tribe.
Key play of the game brought to you by KeyBank. Proud to call Cleveland home for 183 years. KeyBank helps local families and businesses to grow and supports area organizations and charities. Feel safe at home with KeyBank. So the Mariners win it. They go to 49-43 on the year. Indians drop to 36-57. The win today goes to Mark Lowe. He is now 2-4. The save to David Aardsma, his 22nd. The loss to Rafael Betancourt. He drops to 1-2 on the year. For those of you watching here on Channel 3, stay tuned. Celebrity Golf, the American Century Championship, is up next. For those of you on Sports Time Ohio, stay tuned. We've got the Conrad's postgame show. It's coming up next on STO.